last week on the Al Nicoletti Show. So without further ado, let's welcome Jerry to the show. Jerry, we did it, my friend.
Human beings, scientifically proven, are incapable of making complex decisions from the logical side of the brain. They only can make complex decisions from the emotional side of the brain. So what we've done in an overall society is we've gotten to the point where we look at sales as this bad thing. What we do, sometimes we mislead them with enthusiasm, so we do it intentionally. How many times have you walked on a car lot, somebody comes up to you, hey, can I help you? What's the common line? I'm just looking. Now, this is crazy. Most people have a hard time overcoming this. Already in the beginning is I'm already moving the seller towards a no.
We got to hear this.
Al, we can make this happen. Great. If not, no problem. At least we gave it our best shot.
Yeah, you're leading them to saying, yeah, I'm good right now.
That's called setting the stage. And what that does, it allows you to open up to open, honest communication, relieve the sales pressure. This is why you get the results that you do, because you sound like a salesperson. So what we got to do is stop selling and start assisting. Sales is nothing more than assisting someone through a decision-making process.
What are the biggest challenges you face in your business?
What I still struggle with is focus.
Really? In what capacity?
As an entrepreneur, one of the biggest lessons I ever learned from a mentor of mine, he took his business to $300 million a year in revenue. He said, niche equals rich.
Focus down. Yeah, don't go after the shiny objects.
Yeah.
Jerry, one last question. Your favorite dessert at Burns Steakhouse?
Macadamia nut ice cream, dude. Yeah.
We're going to leave it right there. Thanks so much for providing that value to everyone.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be on and be able to share with everybody in your audience. And I appreciate you too, man. And I love Burns too.
Love that thing. So much fun with Jerry Green last week. I'm still buzzing from that masterclass on sales and how you can just fine tune and perfect your way to anything with sales. Whether it's in real estate or business, everybody can get a great amount of value from learning from someone like Jerry. And if you missed any of that episode, go back, check it out, rewind. It's on the YouTube channel. And of course, you can find all the Al Nicoletti Show guests and episodes on the platforms. You can scan the QR code, find us on all the major platforms. And if you are enjoying the episode, share it on Facebook, share it on YouTube, get it to people that really you think could get amazing value from this, because you know, we change it up every week. We're not just doing land, back by back. We are changing it up because we want to make sure no matter what world, what sector you're in, you're getting the value from this. And I got to say, tonight we have another banger. We have Nick Perry, the man, the myth, the legend. I am so happy I got Nick. I haven't seen Nick in a while. And it's so exciting when we get to bring on somebody where we've seen each other. We've met at the conferences. We've seen the journeys. And it's always great to see what they're up to now. And I'm excited to bring Nick on and talk about this, dive in on all this stuff in his world in wholesaling, real estate, and what it's like to be the entrepreneur. So I'm ready to dive in. I got my pen. I got my notepad. And of course, as you know, if you have any questions, drop it in. We love the questions. We love the interactions. That's what the show is all about, providing the value to you all out there. So I'm ready. Let's rock this thing. Hey, everybody. My name is Al Nicoletti. I'm an attorney here in Florida, and welcome to the Al Nicoletti Show, where I bring on real estate super investors, rising rock stars, movers and shakers, and leaders of clubs in their communities that educate, entertain, and inspire all things on Florida real estate, and always bring in the best value to you. What we strive to do is bring the best guests in that can provide the golden nuggets, the gems, the things that can really move you to the next level, get you over the hurdle, get you really thinking, right? We want to get you thinking about what you're not doing or what you can be doing so we can take you to that next level on how you can take your company to the next level. On my show today, the man, the myth, the legend is here, the Nick Perry. I am super excited. We didn't even get to talk backstage, so we're ready to do this thing. Let's bring him on. Without further ado, Nick.
Dude, honored, excited to be here, man. Coming at you from my headquarters here in Austin, Texas. I just got here. This is my first time stepping foot in my office in 3.5, 4 months. So,
wow.
Really,
good for you.
Yeah, man. It's always good to be back.
Yeah, man. I feel like the last time I saw you was at the Space City Summit, and it's always so special when we're not in the conference room, but we get to hang out outside and we got to shoot content. I think it was like early in the morning, and I'm like, man, it's so cool. Like we get to hang out. I'm with Nick Perry. We're talking, and I'm always excited to hear about your journey. I know you were talking all about marketing back then in Houston, and really stepping outside of the business and really building that team to let them run it so you could do things that you really want to get into. And it's so exciting to see that. Nick, we got to hear about a little bit about the journey. I think there's a lot of people that are always thinking about getting into real estate, or they've done a few deals, but maybe they didn't pan out, or they want to go bigger, right? There's a lot of different people out there that have perspectives that they don't know what they don't know, because they need to learn it from people that do know. And I think you can help. So Nick, what was that journey like getting started?
I started off with nothing. So, yeah, I think that I'll just preface it right there is I got it from the mud. I grew up in a middle-class family. At 13, my mom couldn't handle me anymore. So she sent me to live with my dad, who was a landscaper. So he was barely scraping by. So me and my dad lived in a one-bedroom apartment. I slept on the couch. He slept in the room. Wasn't much money, going around. So I realized, like, I'm going to have to work if I want anything. He was just scraping by paycheck to paycheck. He can only go grocery shopping every 2 weeks. And so, at a young age, I realized that, nobody's coming to save me. If I want anything in life, then I need to go out and go get it. And so I started working when I was 14 years old at the dollar store. I was a cashier there. And then I moved to a cell phone store. I was slinging cell phones at 15, and they promoted me to a manager. And I decided at that point that I would rather make 18 an hour as a store manager than go to school. So I stopped going to school at like 15 and a half, 16 years old. And I've just been working ever since. My first career, like outside of being 18, I was a personal trainer. And I had all these wealthy clients. I'm training them and I'm working my butt off. I'm working 60 hours a week. And, I'm doing okay. I'm making 65, 70 grand a year. And they're, telling me about their trips that they took to the Maldives, and they're pulling up in fucking Rolls Royces. And I'm like, you're working way less than me and making way more than me. And then the light bulb went off. You can't trade time for money in this world. So I was like, but how do I do that? So my first mentors were my personal training clients. I'd always ask them, what do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? Kind of like the TikTok and YouTube videos. Yeah. I did that in real life. And all my wealthy clients, surprise, surprise, none of them had W-2 jobs. They were all business owners, and most of them did real estate. And so this leaves clues. And that was what really sparked my interest into going into real estate and learning how to do it. But, I didn't have any money. I didn't have credit. And so I qualified to be a wholesaler. So I came across real estate wholesaling, and that was 10 years ago. But it was a gritty, start to get it going. This has been a long time in the making. I've been doing this for a decade now.
Amazing. And the market back then was so different than it is now. I feel like 10 years ago, you were just coming out of that whole foreclosure crisis, and property values were just creeping back up from the lows. Tons of foreclosure opportunities. I mean, still distressed properties. And now you fast forward 10 years later. If you had to start now, knowing everything you learned in the last 10 years and the market fluctuations, and having gone through COVID as a team, like if you're a new investor, or you're just getting your feet wet, like 1 to 2 years in, what would you really ramp up? Like what would be that advice to really ramp up your business so you can be successful for 10 years?
Master marketing. Because what we're doing, we're not doing, a very sophisticated business. We're basically day trading houses. We're getting properties under contract for this price and then selling them for this price. So marketing is where I see the majority of investors struggle, is whether it's inconsistent marketing or ineffective marketing. That's the biggest roadblock where people, seem like they can't scale. Fortunately for me, I took a plunge into online marketing early in my career, and I got really good at that. And that's served me very well all the way, to this point now. So that's what I would advise anybody, any entrepreneur. I don't care if you're going into real estate, if you're going to be an attorney, if you're going to do a plumbing business, it does not matter. Master marketing, and the internet's not going anywhere. Digital marketing, in my opinion, is the most effective way to get high quality leads, especially for wholesaling.
Well, let's dive in on marketing because that's a big topic for you. So one of the hottest marketing leads lately have been a lot of the PPC and the PPL leads, right? So the inbound leads, we won't even cover the outbound yet, but the inbound leads. What are some of the things that you're seeing on the inbound leads that people aren't capitalizing on or they're not taking advantage of that they need to with inbound?
Well, with inbound, think about the journey that the customer takes to get to you. So they go on Google, they're stressed out. How do I sell my house fast? They land on your website and they fill out a form. Well, they're going to fill out probably a few other forms until they get a call back. So speed of lead is critical with those inbound leads. A lot of times the first person to get the deal or first person to get the seller on the phone is going to get the deal. So speed of lead is critical, whether that is automated where they're getting a text. So for our instance, like I'm in my office right now, but nobody's here. It's outside of business hours. So any leads that come in right now are getting an automated text. Hey, we just got your request for a cash offer. You'll be reaching out to you shortly. Before we hop on the phone, here's a quick questionnaire to go through. So it gives them like a little bit of homework. So they're already engaged in the process. And that, we'll tee them up for the call tomorrow when my guys get in. So that's a big thing I see a lot of investors miss is if they can generate the leads, then they're not handling the leads properly when they come in, and they're burning through a lot of opportunity cost.
So if nobody's in the office, you already have a system set up that does the automated text back to the inbound lead.
Yep. Immediately when it goes out, it's teeing them up and getting them engaged in our process immediately. Because what that's going to do is it's going to stop them from going to a competitor, most of the time. So they'll be like, okay, well, I'm already filled out, the form. Now I've done the questionnaire with them. They let me know they're going to be calling me in the morning. And, they sent me the links to their social profiles and their Better Business Bureau. Like, okay, now I'm in good hands. Like they'll be, able to wait till tomorrow.
Got it. And so how fast, I think there's a lot of investors that have started really getting into PPC. I think that a lot of people like the concept of it because it's of an inbound lead, but the response time in office hours, you got to be fast, right? I mean, how fast is your team responding to these people? Like in a matter of minutes, 10 minutes,
Well, that initial touch needs to be quick, but that needs to be an automated thing that goes out because we're humans, right? Guys are on the phones. They got new leads coming in. They're at lunch, they're playing a game of ping pong. Like there's all kinds of things that could be going on that will prevent you from being that, robotic with it. So let the systems do the heavy lifting when it comes to that stuff.
What have been your thoughts on the PPL leads?
I love them. I mean, we do PPL to this day. Now, here's my thoughts on it. Okay, so PPL is great. But you know how, like I've been in this industry for 10 years now. These vendors come and go. And if you're if you're giving your marketing to a third party and you're relying on them, you're really putting your business at risk because they can increase the price on you at any time. They can go out of business. There's a lot of factors that are outside of your control when you don't have marketing in-house. So we still do PPL leads, but probably 70% of our traffic I would generate with my own Google. So I would recommend everybody learns how to generate their own leads in-house and don't be solely dependent on a third-party broker for your leads.
Great advice right there. Yeah. Because the PPL, concept has been really new to me. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it a while, but I've really just heard about it lately, which I thought was interesting. What about outbound? So you talk about the different forms of marketing, right? Like now we got inbound, now we have the outbound. How critical is it to have those systems really dialed in from what you've seen over the last 10 years and moving forward?
I don't do any outbound. Like if I, try to give my guys cold calling or SMS leads after spoiling them with PPC, they'd probably get up and quit. So we're strictly inbound here. Not to say outbound, doesn't work. For us, I prefer the efficiency of inbound. So let's just do a side by side with inbound versus outbound. So outbound leads, it's going to take you 30 to 60 leads to get a contract. With inbound, it takes 10 to 20.
Mm.
So I can have less people and make more money. A lot of times people look at, what is my cost per lead and all this. I look at how many hours does it actually take me to get a contract, right? Because time is our most valuable resource. So people don't factor in, well, with, let's just use cold calling, for example. Not only does it take 30 to 60 leads to get a contract, but the average time to get one of those cold calling leads under contract, there's an immense amount of follow-up and touches that have to happen. And it's typically 6 months of follow-up.
Wow.
With PPC, 3 days. A lot of them are one call closes. So would you rather, have take 60 leads over 6 months or 10 leads over 3 days?
I like that latter option right there. Yeah, of course. And they're coming to you because they need to do something, right? Like they have a situation, they want to do it, but it's a matter of you now following up. And I love how you have that automated system already built in, which a lot of people don't, because what they do is they have it come straight to their email, or then the person will buzz on the phone. And if you don't pick it up or you don't respond to them or text them, it can be lost. Then somebody's coming in to swoop that deal. So Nick, question for you. Aside from the inbound, how many other forms of marketing should investors have to be successful with investing?
That's all you need. I mean, that's all I do. I make, $5-6 million a year in the wholesaling space. So
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. I love it. I love that.
Not to say I'm not sitting here just like, bashing cold calling. I got friends that crush it in cold calling. But it's, it's something that it takes a different kind of pitch. It's completely different script almost than, handling inbound. So we just prefer to do inbound. Additionally, cold calling might be useful. Like say if you are buying rentals and you only want a specific type of property, you want 3 2s in this zip code that are below this ARV. Well, you can't do that with PPC. You can't get that specific, but you can with cold calling. So if you want a specific type of house, then cold calling is a great method of targeting those specific properties.
Right. Yeah. PPC is going to get you more what your key terms are actually more geared
It's going to get you houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to get you the good stuff for sure. Nick, when it comes so aside from marketing, are there any other aspects that you have seen in your 10 years of doing this that investors should be focused on outside of marketing?
Oh, big time. Big
Go
time.
for it.
Sales is a huge part of it. We're just in marketing and sales. Like if you took a look around my office right now and I didn't have any signage up, like if you just looked around here and you didn't know what we're doing, like you could probably think we're like selling insurance in here, because it's all we're doing is marketing and sales. So master marketing number one, and then master sales. So, we're continuing to train every single day on, objections, role play, underwriting, all the basics. We're drilling them. Even though I have a very seasoned team, I have I think the best team in the nation. We still train every single day, just like a professional sports team. So drilling, marketing, and sales. And then additionally, on top of that, if you're going to grow a company like we have, you need to be a good leader. People management is huge. nobody's going to want to follow you if you're not a good leader and you're not personally developed. So I think that entrepreneurship in general, personal development, is a huge part of success. You know, I spent probably from the time I was 16 to the time I was 25, just really dialing in on personal development. I was a NPC bodybuilder, the discipline that goes into that. I went and, would brainwash myself with Tony Robbins and Zig Ziglar and, just YouTube videos on repeat. I'd listen to subliminal messages. So I've always been, obsessed with just getting 1% better every single day. And I'm still that way to this day. So, personal development is a huge facet of it as well. Nobody's going to want to follow you if you're a loser.
I don't think we've ever actually had somebody break it down to personal development side, right? I completely agree with that. Until you are situated with yourself, you can't lead the team. And you have to always reflect back on that personal development, even when you're in the business, right? You can't just keep leading the team, but also not look back on, well, how am I doing? What's my review? What am I standing for? How am I handling the situations? So I really believe that personal development is a very big key to leading the team, because you can run a business, but after a while, then you got to start hiring, getting the team members in so that they can help you run the team, and then you're stepping away from it. So I love
I'll put it to you this way: I don't work anymore. The fact that you caught me here in my office is very rare sighting these days, because I did a great job at putting in the right people, and I poured into them for years, and now they've taken it to the next level. So that came from the work I did years ago, pouring into them, and now they're pouring into other people and creating more opportunity. But if you look at this, I'll show you. Come check this out. I'm going to show you my core values right now. Here's my core values.
And Nick, by the way, first time we've had somebody do a tour of their office on the show. I love this.
I'll give you the whole MTV Cribs tour if you want it. So, whatever it takes is our number one core value. So always do whatever it takes. And then never ending improvement. That's a huge core value in our office. So always getting better on the individual level. And what can we do as a company to get better? Because a company is just the sum of the people that are inside of it. So if the individuals are continuing to get better every single day, the company is going to go ahead and get better, right? So we pride ourselves on personal development. Like tomorrow, I'm putting on a training. It's called School of Greatness, where we'll profile somebody that's very successful, and we'll break down what made them successful. So we're always doing things like that to sharpen our employees and lead them. Like another way that we lead them that really helps is we make them accountable to their personal, professional, and financial goals.
Mm.
So in our one-on-ones, we're going over what's your personal goals, what's your professional goals, and what are your financial goals. And we're helping them stay accountable to those. And so we meet, monthly. I just did mine with my CEO, who runs my entire company. He reports to me. So I just did his personal, professional, and financial goals before we got on here. And he's crushing it. Very proud of him.
Very cool. I love how you've dialed this in, Nick. So you've been able to have team meetings, set up team culture, and then having everyone else hold each other accountable to these culture, the terms and the way that the company has been built, and then pouring into the others. I think that is really great. And to go through personal, financial, and professional side of things is just huge for people to learn from, right?
No, listen, everybody asks me, how do I have people that stay with me so long? Everybody that works for you, their goals have to fit under the company goals, or they're not going to stay with you. Like top performers, they'll just go off and do their own thing. But none of our top performers go off and do their own thing. We tell them, dude, you want to go off and do your own thing? Go do it. The reason they don't is because they've got it so good here, and we're helping them get everything they want within, these four walls. They say, oh, I want to make 150 grand a year, and I want passive income. You're going to hear that from a lot of top performers when you start hiring them. All right, well, let's break that down. Passive income means rentals. Let's figure out how to get you some rentals. Like, well, our guys buy rentals from us all the time. Yeah, and I encourage it. So it's we're able to pacify and help them hit their goals with what we've created here, and I think that's really important for attracting top talent and retaining top talent.
Very cool. Now that I'm thinking about it, one signature question I usually ask on my show, I'm going to ask you because you've built out your business and you've got it down like amazing. What do you look for in new hires?
And new hires, it depends on the role. Now, if we're talking about acquisitions, like guys that are locking up contracts over the phone, we're looking for a few different characteristics. One, I want them to have some sort of successful heavy commission sales experience before in the past, because I'm done trying to develop people and fix people. Like, when you come in, you hit numbers or you don't work here. Like, this is a performance-based job. So you've got to have a track record before you come in here and start stepping on the phones. Number two, I like when we see people that have gone through some sort of adversity in their life. They might have come from like a single parent background, or they moved out of their hometown to a different location, or they're taking care of their family, or they've gone through something that's out of the norm, because you want to see how people handle adversity and how thick their skin is, because you need thick skin to do this. Another thing is, you can't be living at mom's house. You got to have your own bills, living on your own. Those are all important characteristics of people that we see that are successful when they come into the sales role here.
Yeah, very cool. You have that down. Like, exactly what you want. And I think there are some people that get into the business and they're just hiring, just, fill the roles, right? But like after a while, you've really seen what you really want, because that person's going to be hungry and be able to go after the deals, scale and perform, right? That's huge. Nick, when it comes to the internal process of building out the team, whether it's promoting the different team members for their performances, or whether it's doing the trainings, or whether it's having team meetings, what are some other really important internal processes that investors or realtors need to know if they're scaling their team from the inside as the business owner?
As the business owner, so when you're scaling, and let's just talk about one aspect. Like, when you're scaling, here's what a lot of investors screw up: is they'll start doing well for a while, and then they say, all right, let's start scaling. And then they go out and they hire more people, they crank up marketing, and then next thing you know, shit, our expenses are too high, we're not closing deals fast enough, and they end up shrinking back down. This happens all the time. So when you're scaling, take your time, because it's very easy in wholesaling and many businesses to have your expenses get out over your heels. And the reason it's easy to do it in wholesaling is because our sales cycle is around 90 days, like 45 to 90 days for deals to close. So it's easy to get your expenses up and then not have money coming in and then start bleeding cash. So what I say is, you always lay one perfect brick at a time. This is a marathon, not a sprint. So rather than hiring, 5 people at the same time and tripling your marketing, increase your marketing by 20% and get one person in place. And then next quarter we'll do the same thing. If it goes well and they're hitting their numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've seen it, so it works. And I think a lot of people, they overlook the internal process when they want to build a business, right? In the beginning, it sounds great that you're running a business because it's really just you, right? It's just you and maybe an assistant you've hired. But as soon as you start really getting the money in and getting the leads in, you start realizing that it's not just you, but you got to get these other people. And then inside, you have to really start putting these processes together. I'm sure you have put SOPs together for your team. Like there's got to be a Nick Perry standard operating procedure for how things are done.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, in every single department, it's critical because, like we just got 2 more TCs. If we didn't have our SOPs together, it would have been miserable trying to train them and, cram that much information, onto them and have them be successful. It's just not feasible. So you got to document your processes. We use simple tools like Loom to record videos on how we're doing things, and we just keep it simple. Like, I think a lot of people are like, SOPs has to be this formally written up document. No, just when you're doing something, record a video on how you do it and put it into a library, and it'll be there, and you'll be thankful you did.
And save it and then let the other team members watch it. So now you don't have to go through it all over again, right?
Yep.
That's big.
And that's the reason that I've been able to scale away, because that's all done. Like, if you're not able to walk away from your business and come back 6 months later and you don't have more money in your bank account, you don't have a business, you have a job. Right? I'm just here because I want to be here. My employees don't need me. It's kind of like my kid grew up and went off to college. And, now they're like, "Hey, Dad, I'm glad to see you. When are you going home?"
Yeah.
That's how it is here. But I'm useless in my business. I just come here. I'm going to take them out to Topgolf, really. So,
and have a blast with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really but that came through the years of putting in SOPs, creating the culture, everything we're talking about on this podcast, drilling that into them, being consistent year over year, sticking to the core values, all those things over a long period of time are what builds a strong foundation of a company.
Yeah. And then the other thing that you did was being able to find that person that could fill that role that was you. So then you could step out and not have to worry about all that. That had to be one of the hardest parts, or maybe it was an easy part for you, but I feel like that would be one of the hardest parts because only you know what you know, right? And of course other people can learn it, but there's only one Nick Perry. So doing that had to be hard, right?
You just need to find someone that has as good judgment, like already has a high level of common sense and good judgment and aligns with your core values and sees the vision of the company. And then from there, it's not an overnight process. So Brandon, who's the CEO of our company, he's been with me for 8 years. He started as a cold caller and then became a leads manager and then rose the ranks all the way to now where he runs this. So through the, trenches, the good times, the bad times, we went through battle together and we're able to see how we operate in, good situations, bad situations, and everything in between. So that trust and loyalty is built over, time in the business together. So I would not advise anybody, go hire an outside CEO or an executive. You need somebody that is seasoned in your company with you. And then you start handing over the reins slowly. So, the way that I was able to scale out of the business would be, Brandon, when I would leave, say I would go on a 3-day weekend or something, Brandon will watch The Office that Monday when I was out. And then when I come back on Tuesday, I'd see how things went. If anything needed to be tightened up, we'd do it then. And I did that for a while. And then it was like, okay, I'm going to take a week off and come back. And then it was, okay, I'm going to take 2 weeks off and come back. And then, after about a year or two of that, I was like, everything's going good. I promoted him to COO, which means I was still in the office every day as the acting CEO of my company, but he was in charge of the floor. And if he needed anything, come to me. I sat in my office and I scrolled TikTok. That was my job for about a year and just sat back and observed. And then what I did was I was like, okay, he needs to be promoted now. So I'm going to go ahead and turn over the CEO role to him. And what I'll do is I'm going to manage from afar. So I promoted him to CEO in January of 2021, and I moved to Miami. So I moved out of the city, and then I just came back once a month. Then I came back once a quarter, and then now I'm at the point where I just come back when I want.
I love that. That's so great for you, Nick. And now you've been traveling all over. Like, talk about the lifestyle of what you've been able to build with all these procedures. I mean, you were traveling like on the other side of the planet, and you were gone for what, like a month, 2 months?
Yeah, a little over a month. I was in Australia and Asia. I just got back. I live in Mexico, on the beach in Mexico. So I'm living the life that, when I was broke, busted, and disgusted in a 1-bedroom apartment, this was like what I had on my vision board, was to live the life that I have now. I've got a baby on the way. I got 2 dogs, beautiful girlfriend. My freaking view looks like a Windows 98 screensaver, looking out my window every single day. I travel first class, stay in 5-star hotels. I don't look at the price tag. I can pretty much buy whatever I want within reason from, the decade of work that I put in. But, I don't say that to brag. I say that because this is what is possible when you lay the foundation and you show up and do the things I'm telling you to do. Get 1% better every day, honor culture and put the right people in place, put the right marketing in place, put the right people in place, put the right systems in place. Now you're set up for success.
And when you're away, are you doing any work?
No. I wake up at probably 9:30. My living has breakfast ready for me. I'll have green juice and breakfast, go down to the gym, come back up, take a shower, put my bathing suit on, go down to the beach. And I pretty much just live. I don't live as nearly disciplined life as I used to. That's not how it freaking starts. The first 6-8 years of my career, it was, wake up 4:30, rise and grind, get to the gym, get my ass in the office by 7:30, and then I'd go, and that's how it goes. When you're starting a business, the amount of discipline and focus that it takes is most people don't have it. So if you don't have that strong desire and will, you're probably going to fail. You got to have desire, will, discipline to do whatever it takes. And in the beginning of starting any business, it's like launching a rocket ship. It's a ton of fuel to get it into orbit. But then once it's in orbit, it kind of self-sustains itself. So like this business is in like orbit now. It doesn't really take a lot for me to run this anymore.
Yeah. And Nick, you touched on it real quick, but I want to bring it up because it's something that some coaches and investors do, which is build a vision board. And it sounds like you had done that back then, and now you're living it. How important was it to build that out early on so you really could manifest that in your mind?
I still do it to this day. I'm always painting the picture of what I want the future to look like. Because if you're not painting the picture and you don't have a North Star and you can't visualize it, you'll never get there. Like, call it law of attraction, whatever you want. But I'm telling you, your brain is a computer. Whatever information you feed into it, it's going to, go ahead and manifest in some way. So that's why it's so important that you take careful audit of, the information that goes into, passes through your eyes and ears and your 5 senses. Because you're just a direct, manifestation of that. So put good things into your subconscious. Create vision boards. Listen to personal development. Don't listen to things that are going to harm you. Like, I don't watch stuff on. I'm very careful about what I watch. Like, I don't watch like Netflix or things like that very often. Anything with violence or killing or horror movies. Because all that stuff, you think that it doesn't affect you, but it just eats at you a little bit over time. And you can go one of 2 ways in life. You can either go down or up. So I'd rather just fill my brain with positive things, being around the right people, listening to the right stuff. And that's how I've got to where I'm at. I'm not that smart, man. I'm a fucking 10th grade dropout. So it's not like, I'm a genius. I just model successful people and, try to live a good life full of positivity.
Yeah, what a story, Nick. It's really interesting hearing it each time, and it provides just such a different perspective, right? Because your whole perspective is you can do it. It's all possible. Just apply yourself, use your brain, use your mind, and create that vision and get the leads, get the right people. Don't be stupid about it. Figure out like who you need and put it together and just grow it from there, right? Like it's simple.
Yeah, you got to be tough too. You got to be smart. You got to have good common sense, and you got to be tough. Like, just sitting there visualizing about it ain't gonna get you there. I'll tell you that. Like, that all that's true, but like, I think what a lot of people don't see in me is like underneath all that, like the dog that I've got inside of me to want to be successful is insane. Like the amount of pressure that I'm able to take and push through is the reason I'm successful. If you listen to like love him or hate him, Donald Trump says the number one thing that signifies a successful entrepreneur is the ability to handle pressure. There's a lot of successful people out there that there's a lot of very smart people out there that will never be successful because they can't handle pressure. So you need to be able to keep that vision of those beautiful things when shit's hitting the fan all around you and you've got, deals falling out and your marketing's not working and your employees are griping and you're running low on money in your account. How do you handle business then? Like Mike Tyson says, like everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And in entrepreneurship, you're going to get punched in the face every single day for a while until you get really good at, dodging punches and dishing out punishment yourself. So if you're not able to handle the heat, just quit now and go get a 9-to-5. But if you have that burning desire within inside you to be something better, to be great, then no matter how hard it gets, you never let that go and you never give up till your last breath. You'd have to put a bullet in me in order for me to stop trying to succeed.
It's great, Nick. It's great seeing what you're doing, man, and what you've built. It's awesome. I think it's amazing, and it's inspired to a lot of the people all over that are doing investing. I love seeing it, man, every time. Nick, I usually do these signature questions at the end of my show, and I gotta say, because you've covered a lot of like what it was like being in the business and in the business externally, what you got to focus on. I kind of want to focus on a little bit about what's to come, or if you had some unlimited resources, what would you do for your business? So, first question is, if you had unlimited resources, what would you do to improve your business or do something else?
I would probably hold a lot more property. I would, buy a lot of rentals. If I had unlimited resources, I would just buy everything and hold it. I would never let anything go. And I would just wait on appreciation. But in reality, like the company, it's self-sustaining and it continues to grow. And I don't believe in just like, even if say like a venture capitalist came in here and gave me, $100 million, I think I would still try to grow the same way I told you, like one brick at a time, because I wouldn't want to burn through that money. Could I turn that 100 million into $1 billion? Yes, but business is a process. It takes time. And I know nobody wants to hear that, but it takes time to build something long and lasting. So, but for real though, buy more properties. That you hear all the old guys at the seminar saying, man, if I would have just held more properties. So don't let that be you. I would say, I would be holding everything that, remotely cash flows or appreciates.
Yeah, that's pretty much what every person said anytime I've asked that question. I think JJ said the same thing. He was like, I would buy more property, hold more real estate, right? That's awesome. Nick, so you've seen the last 10 years and you've seen some of the cycles. Where do you think the real estate market is headed in the next 5 years?
Next 5 years, I think there's going to be a lot of law changes. We're seeing a lot of that this year with, realtor commissions going away. Wholesaling is starting to become illegal in certain states. So there's going to be, workarounds for all that. But like I see a lot of opportunity in like the transactional funding space, with wholesaling going away in certain places. I think that the shortage of housing is not going to get solved. It's only getting exacerbated every single day. And so it's a simple economics of supply and demand. I can't see in the short to medium term how real estate, crashes or goes down. So I'm bullish for the short or medium term. Obviously, I have no crystal ball to see where it's going to be in 10, 20 years, but at least for the next 5 years, I'm feeling pretty optimistic, with
Cool.
the way the market's going.
Yeah. I mean, like a lot of people have talked about, they've been through a lot of cycles, and there's going to be good, there's going to be bad, but there's going to be buying and there's going to be selling in some way. So in some way, the market's going to be there. It's just a matter of what strategy is going to work at that time for that market. So we'll see what happens there. But Nick, I haven't asked this question to somebody before, because you've built your business. You found somebody to replace that side of what you were doing so you could step out of your business. And now you're living the amazing lifestyle of traveling the world and being all over the place. I got to ask you, what's next for Nick Perry?
Well, I tried to retire, but I've realized that to retire is to expire. I went and I sat on the beach every single day. I did nothing, except for go to the gym twice a day and, go to dinners. And after a while that, is not fulfilling. Men and women, just people in general, need targets. They need goals. They need to aspire. And for me to just be content with where I'm at would be a disservice to God, a disservice to my family, and to the community, and to everybody around me. So, I want to leave it all out on the field, while I got my time here on this planet, and leave as big impact as I possibly can. So in addition to, continuing to grow my real estate wholesaling company, I've owned other companies as well. So I can't talk about it right now, but I'm building another company similar to what we do in the realm somewhere of what we do. It's not too far outside of the wheelhouse, but I'm building another company. And where I see it is, when I'm 55, 65 years old, I have a portfolio holding company of several very, very successful businesses. That's the trajectory that I'm on. But the skills that I learned here in real estate wholesaling are applicable to every other business that I'm doing right now. So I'm able to spin up businesses and get success way faster than when I cut my teeth in wholesaling. So any of you guys that are out there that are like, man, what is this good for? Know that the skills that you're learning right now are going to serve you for your entire life.
Love it. Yeah. We can't wait to see what's next for you, because I think that seeing you build out your businesses is inspiring. So we want to see what's next for Nick Perry, and we can't wait for you to reveal that when you can.
I can't wait to reveal it either, man. I wish I could just come out with it right now, but I'm not allowed.
Yeah.
But just know I'm excited. I'm waking up charged up every single day, going after my goals and the best version of myself. Just like I was, when I first got started.
Yeah. Love it there, Nick. No, Nick, we actually got some questions that came in. I want to get to some of these for you. There was somebody that said, do you think a 7-figure wholesaling operations can be built with a team and office overseas, assuming they have advanced English? I'm from the Dominican Republic and considering moving back there.
Absolutely, without a doubt. So we've got several of our mentees that are in our 7-figure cartel, and some of our guys that are the most successful have overseas operations, whether that be in Costa Rica, Egypt, other Latin American countries. So Americans are very expensive. So I think that if you can get the labor savings and they can be just as proficient, you don't have to see the houses. Now, the three most expensive things you're going to pay for in this business is marketing, labor, and then general and administrative expenses. Your labor is typically going to be your biggest line item on your P&L. So if you can cut that down by 60, 80% and still get the same output and production, I'm telling you, that's how you get ahead of your competition. I don't care about these vanity metrics. The only thing that matters at the end of the day is net profit and what you're bringing home to your family. That's more impressive than say a $10 million top line. Tell me what your actual bottom line is. So a lot of our most successful students in terms of net revenue have outsourced operations.
Cool. And it's possible. People do that. I mean,
it's a different management style, right? Like you guys are going to have Zoom rooms or, Discord rooms where you're in them all day long and make sure that you're managing them effectively and you're creating that virtual culture. So if you can create that virtual culture, and then why not? In hindsight, I would have done it that way, but I mean, hindsight's always 20/20.
Yeah. Nick, you kind of touched on this with a lot of the laws maybe changing in certain states with wholesaling. And I think a lot of people are getting creative with novations. And someone asked, Nick, how are your people going about novation? Some of these guys like Corey, Gary, and others pitch them like it's a program they run, which, what are your thoughts on novations?
We're crushing it with novations. I mean, that's one of our, biggest exit strategies right now in 2024. So, you got a lot of factors that make novations really useful tool. Would you rather go out and sell your deal to a cash buyer for 80 cents on the dollar, between 70 and 80 cents on the dollar? Or would you rather go out and sell it to a retail buyer for 100%, full ARV? I would rather get full ARV, 100% on the dollar. So we lock up novations every single day in this office. I would say it's probably 30% of our business is novations, and then 20% flips, and then the other 50% wholesale.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of people are using it, and it's another useful tool it's another thing to have in their back pocket in case the wholesaling part doesn't work, right? Then you can get it listed.
Correct. Right now you need to master PPC, and you need to master novations. If you're not doing that right now in 2024, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah. Carlos said, would you recommend PPL over cold calling to a new wholesaler during this? Yeah. Yeah. You covered that.
Yeah. We love PPL. I think that for a new investor just starting off, that is the easiest, fastest way to get your first deal.
Cool. Somebody said, I listed a deal on the market on Friday. I haven't received any calls yet. Any feedback? Should I lower the price?
Depends on what your disposition process is. So price is always, a big lever that you can pull, but you want to make sure that, your dispo process is solid. So what have you done on that deal? Like a lot of people, they'll be like, oh, well, I blasted it out to my email list and I didn't get any response, or, I sent it out on investor list and I didn't get anybody. I'm not a big proponent of like email or blasting. Like we get, in the trenches, and we're picking up the phones and we're calling buyers and pitching these deals to them. Put yourself in the position of one of these busy flippers. Guys are out there running to Home Depot. They get 100 emails a day. They're not looking at your email, especially if it's not well written and it doesn't stand out to them. Forget it. Like, good luck. But if you call them and they're in the truck, going back to the job site, and you're like, hey, Al, I saw, you're flipping property over there in Jacksonville. So you're doing a whole bunch of them. I just got one over there. You still buying it? Like, oh, I'm running whatever one of my flips right now. And now you're having a conversation, right? So you got to be more aggressive and persistent. So reach out, hammer the phones. This is an inside sales job.
Yeah. Love it. And we talked a little bit about PPC, and there's another question, like, what is the average cost per lead with doing nationwide?
Hang on. He said it's listed on the market as a novation. then yes. So if it's on the MLS already as a Novation and it's not getting any showings, then the majority of the time it's going to be the price. It might be because you have terrible photos or something like that. But if you've got good photos and you feel like the listing description spells out everything clearly to prospective buyers, and you're not getting any action, then most likely it's overpriced. The thing with real estate, best product, best price will always sell first. Remember, it's a commodity. It's like a market. So best product, best price always goes first. So if you're not getting action, lower the price if it's on the MLS.
Cool. I'm glad you saw that. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Nick, PPC, what's the average cost per lead with doing nationwide PPC? They said they tried it, they flopped, and I got a few leads at $200 per lead nationwide now using Lead Solo, but a lot of the leads are from Facebook.
Yeah, so we don't use Lead Solo. When we generate the leads in-house from Google Ads, our nationwide lead cost is between $40 to $60. It fluctuates based on what's going on with the auction and time of year, but you just call it $50 a lead is what we pay. We use property leads. Property leads is who we use for our PPL. They've been phenomenal. They'll give you a discount. We got a discount negotiated with them. Just tell them we sent you. You can tell them, Nick Perry, 7-Figure Cartel sent you over. They'll hook you guys up with like credit on your account. But I can't vouch for anybody else because I don't use them. But property leads we've been using for almost 2 years now, and it's phenomenal for us.
Nick, I'm really glad we covered PPC and PPL a lot in the beginning, because then it ended up being the conversation later about what are people doing. That's really, really cool. Somebody asked, what's your Novation offer max and how are you calculating them?
Now you're talking down into the weeds where me as the business owner, I don't get into all that. I haven't comped a house or talked to a seller or a buyer since like 2018. So if Brandon was here right now, he could put on a master clinic, for you and break it all down. But you're asking the wrong guy when it comes to that.
I got you, Nick. Well, yeah, we had some great engagement tonight, even besides the question. Carlos Zamora is on.
Man, what's up, Carlos?
I love it. Carlos, what's going on?
Let me tell you about Carlos. Carlos is an OG. I've known him since 2015. And shout out to Carlos and the guys over there at InvestorFuse. So InvestorFuse is the CRM we use. Carlos Zamora is a big he's been with them since day one. And he's been integral. You guys want to talk about systems and why we've been successful? Because Carlos Zamora and his team like bent over backwards and went above and beyond to make sure that our CRM and our systems were top notch. And so everything runs, flawlessly without us having to be here. It's the brains of our operation. So if you guys are looking for a good CRM, reach out to Carlos. He's a expert in the CRM space and can help you. That's what we use for our CRM.
Yeah, Carlos is brilliant with the CRMs, and his way of doing things in the process is great. So you can learn so much from him and what they're doing over there. Carlos, I hope you have the Al Nicoletti intro down next time I see you. I'm going to hold you to that. And Joshua Hines, he said Nick is one of the realest guys and best success stories out there. So
I really appreciate that. It's real recognizes real, and I love hearing that from other entrepreneurs, especially Josh Hines, man. He's a stand-up guy. And so it's it's just an honor. I just try to get a little bit better every single day. Just go to bed a better man, and we'll see where we're at in another 10 years.
Sounds good. I haven't seen Josh in a while, so it's great to see him watching. Marvin Brandt's on, and Teresa's on, of course.
Nice.
And we had great engagement for this, Nick, especially how we went through everything in the beginning, and then we were able to encapsulate it right at the end and go through those questions. Perfect. Love it. Nick, as I do on the Al Nicoletti Show, I do a segment at the end called Final Words, Final Thoughts. It's that last piece of advice that you really want to give to the viewers and listeners out there that they can really take home and think about? So as I do at the end of my show, final words, final thoughts, Nick Perry.
Yeah, final words and final thoughts are, we had a lot of really good topics in here, so I want to give you guys something different, and that I would say you're gonna, man, we hit some good ones in here, and I think that we could go back and hit some certain points. But my final topic is the only reason that I'm here right now is because the persistence, and I did not give up. So I'm just too dumb to quit. Like, it really just comes down to that. So it took me 104 appointments to get my first deal. And I didn't quit in that process. And this was like a year straight. It took 11 months, 104 face-to-face seller appointments, striking out on every kitchen counter, driving around all over Texas in a car with no AC, barely making ends meet, thought I was going to get evicted. And, you just have to continue to persist through that. I remember at like appointment 75, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm not cut out for this. Other people can do it, but not me. I started having all these, limiting beliefs come in. And I remember I said, you didn't come this far to only come this far. So I said, no matter what it takes, I'm going to be successful. I will either be, handwriting bandit signs at a dumpster behind, a grocery store or something, and this is going to kill me, or I'm going to be successful at it. So you got to have that get rich or die trying mindset, and really have that, hunger and beast inside of you to be able to persist through when the times get hard, and they will get hard. But just know another shortcut to your success as well. This is the final thought, and we're going to wrap it up. Mentorship and community are what's going to get you through those hard times. So I'm a byproduct of having good mentors in my life. There's not a lot of shortcuts in business, but mentorship is a huge shortcut. So find a good mentor and a good community that you resonate with and plug in with them. And that's going to become your friend circle. Your family and the guys you grew up with in high school, they don't understand us. You can't go meet friends out in your hometown where you live. The only place you're going to meet high quality friends is in rooms like this, podcasts, conferences, mentorship programs. So tap into that stuff, and your life's going to transform.
Amazing. Nick, we're going to leave it right there. Awesome interview podcast with you. So great to see what you're doing, what you've been up to, and how you really built that business that now you can live the lifestyle that you want, and you're doing it. And now you're doing new things that are coming up. So Nick, I'm so glad I got to see you again on the show. It's been a while, and you crushed it. Can't wait to see you soon, my friend.
Appreciate it. Thanks, man.
All right, man. We'll see you soon. All right, everybody, you heard it right there from the man, the myth, the legend, Nick Perry. An episode that if you came in halfway, you got to go back and start from the beginning. Or if you missed it, check it out. It's amazing seeing what Nick has done with his business so he can live that lifestyle. And I think there's so many people that really want to get there too. And if you just implement, like Nick's talking about, just the simple things with your businesses and get the right teams, the right software, and just get the right consistency in, you'll get there as well. And if you missed any of this, you want to go back and check it out. But I got to say, thank you to everybody that was dropping comments, asking questions. We love it. We love it. And even Teresa, right at the end, she said, Nick never let schooling get in the way of his education. Yeah. I mean, forget school, go straight to real estate, right? Pass go. It's awesome seeing that you all are engaged with this, and we love that feedback from you. So keep engaging, keep writing, keep dropping comments. We want to see it. And if you missed the episodes, you can check us out on the QR code, scan it, and we will be back next Wednesday night, 9 p.m. on Wednesday. And I got to tell you, Really interesting that we have Megan Harris from Empora Title. This title company is doing deals virtually with title, which is really unique. So you don't want to miss that. Check it out. We'll see you all next Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. Have a great night, everybody. Take care.